quorum. Today is Monday, August 4th. It's now 6:30 p.m. We're going to call the meeting to order. We just got back in from the vehicle and equipment tour in the town hall parking lot, and department heads did a nice job telling us about their equipment needs, what's on the plan, and answered our questions. So with that, for the further agenda for this evening, it's very brief here this evening. We have approval of the July 14th meeting minutes. Mike prepared responses to questions that the committee had regarding from our July 14th meeting, any other business. And at that point, we're going to stop the meeting and continue on to the Morrow Memorial Library at 7 p.m. Clayton's going to give us a tour. We'll have the tour, and we'll just, for the purposes of our public meeting, after the tour, we will adjourn. There'll be no further business at that point in time. So with that, why don't I open up with item number 1 on the B agenda here, approval of minutes from July 14th, 2025.
So moved.
I'll second.
Seconded. All in favor of approval of the July 14th minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. The next issue or response, we did have some questions that Mike was kind enough to field at our last meeting. Questions about the capital outlays plans for FY24. We had a series of questions. I don't know, Mike, you just want to take us through real quickly?
Yeah, so thank you. We had a productive July 14th meeting, and as promised, I went to the departments and I asked them to kind of provide some answers to the questions that are on the list here. So for FY26, or in general, there are some questions that are more generic about the question 1 for DPW. We have a study in the CIP plan for the Meadowbrook drain improvement, Murphy Field design. Can we add a construction line? Turns out there was a construction line. It was just titled something differently. So that $2.88 million in FY29 to construct box culverts was that corresponding construction line. So I've retitled in the spreadsheet and elsewhere now to reflect that change. So that was a good catch. And question 2 for DPW was about why are we paying the $1 million for the MWRA water meter connection chamber construction? And Mark Ryan's answer to that was Mass DOT has indicated that they will pick up the costs for the relocation of the water meter connection chambers. There is still water main work that will need to be done within the project limits. Basically, the bottom line here is that we were able to reduce the request in fiscal 26 from $1 million down to $500,000. That $500,000 is indicative of the FY26 cost of the design of the water main improvements on Route 1. So he did make a corresponding reduction in that that item.
So basically, they're paying for the cost of relocating it, but the mains themselves are in the kind of condition where we need to replace them in any event.
Yeah.
Kind of while we're in there, we might as well.
Yeah, exactly. While you got the street opened up.
And is there a corresponding construction item for that? I'm just looking.
Water meter chamber. So in the spreadsheet itself, just to jump ahead for a second, all the yellow highlights are the changes that were made based on the questions. So that $500,000 is the construction.
This says $500,000 for design, and this says construction. So I'm wondering, is it one or the other, or is there something that's this says construction.
Yep. Oh, I see.
This says design of water main
Okay.
improvement. So if it's design, then we need to have a construction to go with it.
I can verify that. We might just been using the same phrase. It might be. I'll verify that. I think Mark's only request is the $500,000. I think that is just for the actual work. It's not like I'll verify that, but
Okay.
yeah. I mean, obviously, at our next meeting, Mark will be there too.
The
So
description says construction funds would be needed in FY28. So are they going to come back later?
Apparently.
okay, we can ask that.
This needs some clarification, yeah.
Okay. Well, like I said, Mark will be at the next meeting too, so we can definitely ask that. I'll try to get sorted out before then. The question on the water improvement program, we have 7 years left before we take a break. That's for the water tank project. That's when the actual borrowing will take place in FY28.
So 2028 is only 3 years away, not 7
Yeah,
years
correct.
away.
That's based on the timing of when you have until the project's done, I guess, to start paying back, so the 7 years from then. So Mark's response here is that we have 7 fiscal years worth of the current project before there's any sort of break, so I guess it would be fiscal 33. 26.
Right, so I guess the idea, my understanding was that once the borrowing hits for the tank, then we would stop the water main improvement for a while. So it sounds like we've got 3 years, and then somewhere later there'll be 4 years.
Well, I think
But
once
it'd
the
be deferred.
the repayment schedule starts, I believe that's
Right, but that would
yeah.
be in 28, not 7 years from now.
That's what I was given, that they said it's
Okay,
going to be 7
so I
years.
think we
Yeah.
got a little some clarification there.
Okay.
Does 7 years include the pause or not? basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. For question 4, Bellevue Avenue expansion design, we added a $1.5 million placeholder in FY30 for the question there. That's, yeah, Cemetery at Bellevue
See it,
Avenue
yep.
expansion, yep. So the 250 is the design and the 1.5 million is the construction. Obviously, this far out, that could change.
Right, but at least we can
Yeah.
see.
Yep. Facilities, there was a question about 2 studies that didn't have corresponding placeholders. We did get response from them that for the HVAC project, to add 10 million over 3 fiscal years, starting in the last 3 years of the plan, so 28, 29, and 30. Fiscal 28, 29, and 30 are all at, 3.25 million. That's, they hesitant to put a number on it just because it is based on
Right.
the study, but that's what they can
Right.
give us now.
It's just a placeholder.
Yep.
Yep.
We realize that it's probably going to change over time as the
Yep.
study's done.
One thing we do know is it won't be 0.
Yeah, for sure.
And then similarly for the fire turnout gear room, we added 2 million in FY27. The design for that's 125 in fiscal 26, and so that's year 2 of the plan. For the generator question, between the options of doing them all at once or staggering them, facilities advised to stagger them, so
Yep.
that's what we did. The school projects, based on any sort of studies that are happening right now, kind of created a more philosophical question there about where the town wants to go with its elementary schools. And then also housing that's coming to town, what that's going to do to the school system. So I didn't make any changes to the spreadsheet based on that. I think that's going to require some more discussion with facilities. Recreation said that they are taking steps to protect the bathroom renovation project, cameras, roofs designed so that people wouldn't climb on top, having staff responsible for opening and locking the restroom, and also maybe a self-locking mechanism. So they are taking steps to try to protect that. Actually, this question came up tonight, but about the police fleet, about electric vehicles. As the chief said tonight and also reiterates here, we have 2 electric vehicles at the moment, but they don't really work for a fleet that runs all hours of the day and 7 days a week. As he mentioned earlier, oftentimes they use a electric vehicle for 1 shift and then they have to charge it for 2 shifts. So.
Yeah, and I think he said that they'll be taken out of the patrol system, but that they probably have some administrative uses for them in the future.
Right.
If I heard him right, I think that's what it is.
Okay, tasers, as we mentioned at the last meeting, we're on a lease system. Tasers do become obsolete, just like computers, and then they also, they hit a point where they're no longer supported by the taser company if they get too old or out of date. So what's in the capital plan, the $51,000 a year, is basically the cost of the lease contract we have each year.
I appreciate that no committee members asked for a demonstration of the tasers in the parking lot today, just FYI. Thank you.
Were you nervous, Bob?
We're not one of the rowdy committees.
There we go.
And last question was on the airport grants, how that works. I talked to Mark Raymond about that. We apply for federal grants with the assistance of the airport's engineering consultant. Consultants design a project using FAA standards. A project design is then submitted to the FAA along with a project cost, an independent fee estimate, and a grant application. The project cost is established by putting the project out to bid before applying for the grant. So what's in the capital plan for airport projects is just the town's share of what these projects are, and they are, it seems like they've been in consultation with engineers and, airport officials. And that's the questions we had from the last meeting.
Any other questions from the committee?
Just an observation, just looking, we made these adjustments, you look at the bottom line, and it's pretty consistent, except for fiscal '29, when you got, it's 40 million as opposed to something around 20 million, and that's because you got 20 million for the town hall renovations in that year, so that's kind of says, okay, something different probably needs to be done for that.
Oh, yes.
So, if you look at the bottom line here, we got 16, 24, 24, then 40, and then back to 20.
Yeah.
And if you go up this year, you get to the town hall is 20 million by itself. You take it out, and you're down to 20, so that's much more, much more sustainable
Yeah.
than even, 20-ish million a year. Each year is probably,
It's an outlier. but-
yeah, that's the outlier, so you'd have to fund that, deal with that separately.
Right, right. That is true. So our next meeting, August the 26th at 6:30 PM. And I just made a couple notes, Mike, that maybe we can ask Jeff about for that meeting. One would be, if it's possible, I think we could probably do this, even if they're projected. For the borrowing projects, could Jeff construct sort of the debt service schedules for those projects? How many years for each of them?
Okay.
What would the annual debt service be for both for the general budget as well as the water fund?
Okay.
I think those are the two areas for the borrowing projects that are going to be sources of the funding for those.
Okay.
Is there anything else people would like to see at the August 26th meeting?
Well, I like to see Jeff get us a spreadsheet of what's currently coming off of it to see offsets.
Yeah, the net impact to debt service.
Yeah.
is really-
It's coming off debt service, okay.
Right, so we add 200,000, we take 180 off, it's
Right.
that
So what the
20,
net
that
would be.
kind of thing, yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
Has, as far as the schools are concerned, have we, I don't know whether it's facilities or even facilities or whatever, but for the changes that have been happening to the elementary schools now, and then going to change again, correct? Do you have any idea of costs that will happen here because of, I don't know, you need little potty chairs and you need lots of different things in different places, move things around,
I think it'll
right?
be moving costs.
Yeah.
I think primarily when I heard the superintendent discuss it, because it'll just be moving kindergarten tables and things from Willett out to the other 5.
Yeah.
And maybe there will be some minimal purchasing. I think we'll have to figure that out in the fall because we'll be planning for the next school year.
Yeah.
But there shouldn't be a major impact from what I've heard so far, as
Okay.
far as like new furniture and things like that.
Yeah, I was thinking along the lines of that and the height of lights and stuff like that.
I haven't heard of any major,
Yeah, okay.
building.
There were so many different things done to each one of the buildings over the years. So to have to go back and fix some of these things for the kids.
A lot of the principals, they already have like mapped out which rooms they want to use for kindergarten, and some principals who've been here long enough said like, no, that those were the rooms they used before.
When they had
Yeah.
kindergartens at the school.
Yeah, so I mean, I
yeah.
think they've kind of mapped out the 2 rooms per
Okay.
building. And
I guess that's the benefit of having some older elementary schools, is they've
Yes.
served that purpose before and they're
Right,
returning
right.
to it now.
It's a lot of reshuffling.
Could open up the Shattuck School.
But thanks for the question. Thanks, that was a good question. Thanks.
The one item that I have, just FYI for everybody, since it is the middle school, is the largest capital project in our town's history. So August 25th at 1 PM at the middle school is the ribbon cutting ceremony. So if you're around town on the 25th, you're welcome to go there at 1 PM. And I don't know if we're going to be able to get inside the school that day or not, but I think there'll be some public tours subsequent to the 25th. But the school looks really coming along very nicely.
And I'm assuming that the state treasurer will be there.
I don't know.
Jack.
If not, Jack McCarthy will represent the treasurer in
Okay.
his retiree role. I'm not in charge of the invites, but I'm sure that Mr. Slater on the building committee probably has an invitation list for the 25th. You're on it, too. Any other questions? Okay. All right, so we have our next meeting scheduled for the 26th at 6:30 p.m. We're not adjourning at this point in time, but rather we are now going to relocate ourselves to the library for a tour from Clayton. And we'll have the tour from Clayton, and at the end of that tour, we will adjourn formally. That will be the last piece of business. The last vote we'll take will be just adjournment after the tour of the library. All right, so we'll see folks in a few minutes at the library.
Where do you want to assemble?
Let's meet by the main door from the parking lot.
The parking lot main door.
That's the easiest place to congregate.
Okay.
And we're